Okay, thank you all for joining in tonight. It's going to be a pretty quick meeting, but I do want to update you on what we're planning and kind of where we are. Since we last met, of course, we didn't meet last week because of Memorial Day, but since we last met, I'm sure you all have heard about uh, the President Trump's um, I guess it wasn't President Trump. It was the Supreme Court ruled
Mhm.
um, in the case of the state of Illinois, and Judge Kavanaugh ruled that all restrictions on churches, were to be lifted by Governor Pritzker as of 8 p.m. last Thursday evening. The state of Illinois Board of Public Health responded by sending out some guidelines. Obviously, these are not mandates. This is not law, but these are wise best practices that the Board of Public Health officials have sent out to churches. And so we have those guidelines, and in fact, our task force, our COVID-19 task force for the church, is meeting probably as we speak right now to look through how does this impact us, when does it impact, or how does it impact when we return, um, and then what restrictions will we have in place when we return. I'll say this: the when we return is still up in the air. I wish I had an official day for you, but I unfortunately I don't. The how we return, though, know that there will be some restrictions. It's not going to look like it looked before, and it's going to be a while. We've got a long road ahead of us before it looks like 100% capacity in the church. But uh, the time is coming, and it's drawing closer when there will be the ability for some of us to meet together. Um, as I've said in the past, that may look like everyone getting to attend once a month or twice a month or maybe once every 3 weeks. Um, we're just going to have to look and see what that looks like. And we're going to go based on the recommendations of our task force, because our task force is made up of three physicians, the deputy chief of the Maryville Police Department, who's a member of our church, and then Tom and Nate. So we have people who are medical professionals, people who are professionals in the area of law, and then, of course, Tom and Nate, everybody who cares about our church, who also cares about God's commands and his expectations of us meeting together. And so I feel very confident in the leadership that we have right now, and am excited for what's to come. I think we all are ready for something different. I think we're ready for progress. Safe progress, yes, but progress nonetheless. And so I'm excited for that progress to come. So I'll give you a wide range of what that could look like, and try to be as specific as possible without giving any false fake news. Right? That's the hot thing now. So let's go first to when we return. Right now, it's looking like the earliest we would return is June 14th, which is about 2 weeks from today. There was a chance that it could be June 7th. However, that window has closed more or less. Of course, we won't know anything till after the task force meets tonight and has an opportunity to put together a plan moving forward. So all that to say, it is looking like June 14th would probably be the earliest date at which we would return. The restrictions or the guidelines given by the state of Illinois for uh, for the group participation includes no more than 25% of your congregation or 100 people, whichever number is smaller. And of course, in our case, that would be 100 people that we would be limited to there on our size. Um, you know, I don't know what that number. I don't think there's any chance we would go over that number, but there is a chance the task force may recommend that we go under that number. And so if they do, then we would need to adjust accordingly. But my vision for what it looks like whenever we get the green light to start coming back and doing services live would, one, be that we return to having a full rhythm section on stage. So we would have drums, bass, acoustic guitar, keyboard, and a couple of vocalists. Vocalists, I apologize, but I'm probably going to limit your numbers for a little while just to continue to control the number of people we have on stage. I'd also like for that to include some members of the horn section. Now, I'm saying all of this, and Dennis and I haven't had an opportunity to talk, but I'm envisioning that we would maybe have the horn section split and take turns maybe every other weekend. A few of them would play one weekend and a few of the other. That could be a possible structure there. We would just have to see again based on the limitations that are set for us by the task force. And then behind the scenes, I would want to limit the camera crew to a director and a camera one operator. We would then fill out the other positions like we have it. Now, when we do return to in-house services, we're looking at, and I think I've communicated this in the past, but we're looking at a 9:30 Sunday morning service. I'm sorry, a 9 o'clock Sunday morning service, a 10:30 Sunday morning service, a 4 o'clock p.m. Sunday afternoon service, and a 5:30 p.m. Sunday afternoon service. What I'm envisioning is a Sunday morning crew and a Sunday afternoon crew at this point. For the first 4 weeks after we return, I've asked our worship staff um, to serve as the worship leaders for the afternoon services, so that we could all kind of get our feet under us as we're moving forward with this plan. In the afternoon as well, those services are going to take place in the worship center. Before, we've split up between worship center and chapel, and our plan now is to have everyone socially distanced, and the worship center makes that more possible for 100 people to socially distance. The other thing is we're looking at the chapel as a possible overflow. We don't want to turn people away. If you want to come to church, we want you to come to church, COVID or not. But we still want to honor social distancing, and we still want to honor the public health. And so we're looking at the chapel being a possible overflow for people who wouldn't register online or who may not be connected to communication, and they hear the church is open, so they just come to church, and they don't get all the info. Those are different options that we're looking at there now. We may also use the chapel as just a secondary spot, where we would have 50 to 100 people in the chapel, 100 people in the worship center, just to get more people involved in the services. Again, we're still talking through all of that. All the details I'm giving you here are just, here are the best ideas we're considering right now, so that whenever this goes down, you're not surprised by anything. The final thing, I mentioned a 4 o'clock service, which might be a little bit of a surprise. We're thinking of that service as a possible service time for senior adults. That they are our most vulnerable group in the midst of this pandemic. And so creating a space for them that is specific to their needs, with maybe even some extra social distancing and some precautions put in place specifically for that service. That's what we're considering right now. So yeah, that should be a pretty big, broad overview of what we have in mind. Kind of want to open it up right now for questions, and that may spur on some more thoughts as we go along. But any questions right now as you listen to all of that?
Matt, I have a question.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
You may have mentioned, so are Saturday night services just going to be paused for the time being, or are those still going on?
So Saturday night services are moving to Sundays for the summer. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, good question though.
Matt, with
Yeah.
the 4 o'clock service,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys are considering making that for like the senior adults, you might want to consider including like the immunocompromised people
Yes, that would
in that
include
because
that as
they
well.
are okay.
That would be for anyone who's immunocompromised.
Yeah.
The idea there now, of course, between all of our services, the worship center, all of the touch surfaces, all of the places where people are sitting, everything will be disinfected, so that there is truly a clean slate that we start from. The idea with that being, if we go from we have a 10:30 service, that gives us about a 4-hour window there that we can flip the worship center around and really do a deep clean before we would have the most vulnerable members of our congregation come and be a part of a service. So that's kind of the idea there. Good. Any other questions? You guys are good.
I don't have a question, but I have a statement.
Yeah.
This is mainly for Jeff. This is probably not including student services, so we'll check for that, most likely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, Jessica, because right out of the gate, we're looking at this just being worship services with no additional programming. As you know, additional programming means lots of extra bodies in the church, which is great. It just makes this very, very, very challenging for controlling variables. So. Good.
Hey,
Any
Matt.
other question? Yes, sir.
Eye surgery permitting, I volunteer to be one of the first directors. I'm anxious to get back to it.
Hey, fantastic. Well, I volunteer to let you do that.
All right.
Absolutely. Very good.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Wayne.
I can be the first one to do the hard cam.
Okay. Fantastic.
If need to.
Yes. I'm sorry. Give me just a minute. I'm texting Kelsey. The pizza's ready in the oven. So sorry. Hey, Kels, if you can hear me, grab the pizza.
Those are priorities right there.
There you go. Sorry, everybody. I told her whenever we started this call, I said, all right, I've got 17 minutes and 39 seconds to get this baby knocked out. Thank you, babe. Any other questions?
I can cover the sound at least.
Yes. Yes, sir. I'm counting on it.
And if we're not doing students and Randy needs help, if we need to split up mornings and afternoons, let me know as well.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Good.
Well, for the mornings, I think I've mentioned this on an earlier call, but the mornings we would keep the 7:00 a.m. rehearsal time, but then we would not do a midweek rehearsal. So Wednesday nights are out for the summer. 7 a.m. morning rehearsal for Sunday morning, and then we do like a follow-up, kind of like a touch-up rehearsal at 3:00 just to check all the inputs, make sure we're good. We're going to do a little different setup for the afternoon. We're going to do more of a stripped-down set, at least for the first few weeks. So that'll give us an opportunity to check all those inputs. Another detail that'd be important to know is whenever we return to in-house, we'll stream the 9 o'clock and the 10:30 services online. We will not stream the 4:00 and the 5:30 services. Those will be dark online. We'll just do our regular, and we won't have a camera crew either. We'll just do our regular full slide graphics, kind of the Saturday night look for the afternoon services there. So that would have been an important detail for me to mention earlier. Cool. Very good. Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you're watching this video after the fact, let me reiterate that all of this is tentative. I share this information with you guys because I want you to be in the know. I care about you guys, and I think that as members of this team, as owners of this team, as we all are, I think it's important for you to know what we're thinking and what we're planning, and to just kind of have an inside view of the full scope of what's possible at this time. What's encouraging is that here on June 1st, 2020, we're closer than we were on May 1st, 2020. And that's very encouraging. We've definitely made some progress in the last month. And by July 1st of 2020, I think it's going to be exponentially better. All right. Well, hey, you guys have a great night. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Text or email or call or whatever you need to do.
How about this coming week? What we're gonna do Wednesday night?
Yeah, so Wednesday night, I'll reach out to you on that, Randy, with details of what that's going to look like. All right. Hey, everybody have a good night. We'll talk to you later.
Good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
And